Hey fam, welcome back to the Dr. Eric K. Coleman Show. We are continuing the theme for the month of February, Valentine's Day. We are focusing on the subject of love. But please ma'am, please sir, do me a housekeeping item first before we get started. Click the notifications tab so that you can stay abreast to all content pertaining to this platform. Click the like button, but most of all, please click the subscribe tab. Today's subject, we are going to be dealing with the power of love. No, we're not going to be dealing with Luther Vandross's song, The Power of Love. We are going to be dealing with a TED Talk from Simon Sinek, a prominent motivational speaker on leadership. And the crux of this conversation that he's having with this gentleman on stage is coming from the perspective of leadership. However, the analogy that he is using, the example, is dealing with that of love and how it takes work, the consistency of it, and how over time it produces. So let's go ahead and jump in.
Do you love your wife?
Yes.
Right? Prove it. Like, what's the metric? Give me the number that helps me know, right? Because when you met her, you didn't love her, right? Now you love her, right? Tell me the day the love happened. It's an impossible question, right? But it's not that it doesn't exist. It's that it's much easier to prove over time, right?
Yeah. Just like from the last conversation we had last week pertaining to the young lady, when the question was posed, what is love? She said, well, I really don't know how to explain that because it is so vast, and the plethora of ways to approach that question as far as how love can be expressed. It's good that Simon here says that we can quantify love based off of the definition that we have established here of the well-being of another person. You're expressing well-being towards another person. Over time, that can be seen, that can be quantified, and it could be qualified as far as them seeing it. But the quantification of it is how much of it is being shown, how much well-being is being shown towards me over a period of time.
So all leadership is the same thing. It's about transitions. So if you were to go to the gym, right? It's like exercise, right? If you go to the gym and you work out and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing. And if you go to the gym the next day and you come back and you look in the mirror, you will see nothing, right? So clearly there's no results, can't be measured, it must not be effective. So we quit, right? Or if you fundamentally believe that this is the right course of action and you stick with it, like in a relationship, I bought her flowers and I wished her happy birthday, and she doesn't love me. Clearly I'll give up. You know, that's not what happens. If you believe there's something there, you commit yourself to an act of service.
Act of service, commitment, intentionality, repetitive, over time, performance, and action, work. If we haven't noticed by now, just like we were talking about in the last episode, we cannot equate love to just feeling. Love is an action. It is acting out in a practical way, in a tangible way, the betterment of someone else. So if you are doing these things and you're expressing your love for them or their betterment or their well-being, or to see a smile put upon their face, these are things that you are going to intentionally do to show your love or your affection or your desire for them to see how much they are worth to you. So these are action words. These are verbs. These are just not things of just I'm saying it and hoping that you will believe it over a period of time. It is the action that is being expressed here and that is being received and that people are taking note of, not just what you say, but what is it that you are doing.
You commit yourself to the regime, the exercise. You can screw it up. You can eat chocolate cake one day. You can skip a day or two. You know, it allows for that. But if you stick with it consistently, I'm not exactly sure what day, but I know you'll start getting into shape.
Yes,
I know it.
Absolutely.
And the same with the relationship. It's not about the events. It's not about intensity. It's about consistency.
Yes.
Right?
It's not about intensity. It's about consistency. Absolutely. You fellas, you could be, a rich fella out here whining and dining these ladies, and you're giving them extravagant gifts and taking them on extravagant trips. Once a month, once every other month when you link up, but there is no love there. There's no way to convince a woman that you love her because this is not something that is being done on a consistent basis. This is just a one-off. This is anecdotal. If you're constantly sending her a text, write her an email just to see how she's doing in the morning, showing up in a way that she recognizes your interest, just those small things that shows your interest. Not the lavish things, because those things, they can fade away, but it's those memories that you are implanting. It is the daily grind. It is the daily task, the daily things that you are doing to show your consistency and to show that you are interested. And likewise with the ladies, men want to feel that same thing. We want to know that you are interested. Yes, we are the ones that 9 times out of 10 pursue you first. But if there is a genuine reciprocated interest within us, then we want to see those same things of we're being thought about. It's not a one-way street, thinking that the man is supposed to just do everything. Yes, we typically pursue. However, we do not want to be the one that's always giving in a relationship. And a woman thinking that just because you're present that you're the prize. No, it doesn't work like that. We want to feel appreciated and respected as well. Let's continue.
Right? You go to the dentist twice a year, your teeth will fall out. You have to brush your teeth every day for 2 minutes. What does brushing your teeth twice a day for 2 minutes do? Nothing. Unless you do it every day, twice a day for 2 minutes. Right? It's the consistency. Going to the gym for 9 hours does not get you into shape.
Yep.
Working out every day for 20
Yep.
minutes gets you into shape.
Yep.
So the problem is
the
we treat
longevity
leadership
of
with
it.
intensity. We have a 2-day offsite. We invite a bunch of speakers. We give everybody a certificate. You're a leader. Right?
I've been to those.
Those things are...
Everybody walks out of the conference thinking that they're the best leaders in the world. Wrong. Not so. So why do we think if we did one thing, we showed up, we did something for the birthday, or we remembered one of the many anniversaries that people tend to come up with in relationships, and we think we've achieved, we think we've arrived. No, that was great, but it's the consistency. But isn't it funny how we always want to be remembered for the one thing that we did, and then want people to forget the consistent things that we did not do. And at the same time, on the same token, on the other side of it, we cannot be so focused on, again, what people are not doing and bypass what they have done. We just can't, what's the terminology? We can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We cannot negate the things that people have done just because they are, quote unquote, not meeting the standard of what it is that we want them to do. And let's be perfectly honest, when people are not meeting standard, whether it's on the job or in a relationship, the onus is on the other party to let the other person know what the standard is, and you have to come to an agreement on what that standard is. And you have two options: either meet the standard or you keep it moving. It's just that simple. But a lot of times we do not meet the standard on things because it has not been communicated, nor has it been expressed.
Like going to the dentist. They're very important. They're good for reminding us or getting us back on track, learning new lessons. But it's the daily practice of all the monotonous, little, boring things like brushing your teeth that matter the most. She didn't fall in love with you because you remembered her birthday and bought her flowers on Valentine's Day. She fell in love with you because when you woke up in the morning, you said good morning to her before you checked your phone. She fell in love with you because when you went to the fridge to get yourself a drink, you got her one without even asking.
Yeah.
She fell in love with you because when you had an amazing day at work and she came home and she had a terrible day at work, you didn't say, yeah, but let me tell you about my day.
Bruh. Bruh. Yeah, that hit hard right there. That hit hard. Again, we're talking about love, the well-being of the other person. And that right there hit hard from chapter 8 of the book, Paradigm, Thinking Different About Relationships. He says you don't come home talking about your day when your spouse has had a crappy day. Chapter 8 talks about how dare you make my feelings all about you. How dare you flip the conversation? How dare you ride the coattail of my crappy day, but now in your brain you're thinking that you are doing me a favor by telling me about your day. Champion that person at that moment. Give them what they need. Love them. Esteem them higher than yourself at that moment. Give them what they need. Do what's best for their well-being. Is telling them about your super fantastic day adding to their well-being right now? They need to be patched up. They need to be cultivated. They need to be loved. They need to be reassured. 9 times out of 10, they just want to be held and let it be known to them that someone sees them and that they're in a safe place and a safe space at that moment to just listen to what I have to say. If I want a response, I will tell you. If I want a solution, I'll let you know. And if I want you to fix it, I'll communicate it. So at that moment, we just need to shut up, listen, be in the moment, and be what we need to be for that person right then and there. That's how we show love. The well-being and the betterment and the uplifting of other people besides ourselves.
Sat and listened to her awful day, and you didn't say a thing about your amazing day. This is why she fell in love with you. I can't tell you exactly what day, and it was no particular thing you did. It was the accumulation of all of those little things that she woke up one day, and as if she pressed a button, she goes, I love him. Right? Leadership is exactly the same. There's no event. There's no thing I can tell you you have to do that your people will trust you. It just doesn't work that way. It's an accumulation of lots and lots of little things that anyone by themselves is innocuous and useless. Literally, pointless by themselves. People will look at little things that are good leadership practices and say, that won't work. And you're absolutely right. But if you do it consistently, and you do it in combination with lots of other little things, like saying good morning to someone, that looking them in the eye. My friend George, who's a 3-star general in the Marine Corps, he says his test for leadership, and I love this, he goes, his test for a good leader is if you ask somebody how their day is going, you actually care about the answer. Mm-hmm. Right? The number of times we're walking to a meeting, we're rushing, we go, how are you? Not good, I got to get to you later, I'm late for a meeting. Right. If you ask the question, you were standing there and you were listening to the answer. It's those little innocuous things that you do over and over and over and over.
It's all in what you do. There's this song that I like by Chrisette Michele and Neo. First of all, I just like the beat. It rocks. But it's got a good message to it. It's all in what you do. It's the little things. It's the little things that accumulate. With my spouse, there was something that I did with my wife when we first got married. I realized that she liked fresh flowers. And so 15 years later, of how long we've been married, I always make sure to have fresh flowers in the house. Is it cumbersome sometimes to do that, for me to remember to think about it? Yeah, it is. Do I miss a week here? Do I miss 2 weeks there? Yeah, I do. But it's that consistency over time to where it shows her that I listened over 15 years ago of something that she likes that brings a smile to her face. And it just brings back so much nostalgia and memories to where when she looks at the flowers, she could be feeling the crappiest, but she remembers that someone cares. Someone loves me. And also, I just didn't want flowers to be equated to I'm giving you these for a holiday, or if I done something wrong and I'm trying to say I'm sorry. Trying to take away that negative connotation of when dudes, be giving our ladies, flowers. Okay, what the heck did you do? But I want her to know that I don't need a holiday. I don't need a special day. I don't need an anniversary. I don't want, or I need something when I need to say I'm sorry to give you your flowers now. I want you to know that I see you. I hear you. I appreciate you. I may not show it all the time, but whenever you look at those flowers on that dresser, know that I do love you and I care about you. Now, do the flowers do anything for me? No, because I can't fully understand why the flowers are so important to her. But again, when we love someone, we sometimes do things, we sacrifice, and we do things, and we go out of our way to do things for the betterment and the upliftment of other people. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think or how I feel about those flowers. It's all about how she feels about it. Does it add value to the relationship? Yes. Does it brighten her day? Yes. Does it make her feel a certain way? Yes. And it is reciprocated in other ways of things that she does for me just because. So keep that in mind, fam. We do things just because we go out of our way for the betterment and the upliftment of someone else, whether it be from a physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual perspective.
Over that people will say, I love my job. Not I like my job. I like my job means, yeah, the challenge is great, they pay me well, I like the people. I love my job means I don't want to work anywhere else. I don't care how much somebody else is willing to pay me. I'm devoted to the people here, and I care desperately about the people here as if they were my family. In business, we have colleagues and coworkers. In the military, they have brothers and sisters. That's how they think of each other, right? If you really have a strong corporate culture, the people will think of each other like brothers and sisters. It's like a family, right? No, brothers and sisters. Deep love. Fight, but the love doesn't go away, right? Bicker, the love doesn't go away. And I'll fight with my sister, but if you threaten my sister, you're going to have to deal with me.
Right.
Right? We'll fight internally. We'll bicker with each other, but nobody's going to hurt each other. And if anything from the outside shows up, you're looking at a unified front. Brothers and sisters. Now, how do you create brothers and sisters out of strangers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20.
Common beliefs, common values. Parents, in other words, executives who care about their children's success, who care to raise their children, teach them skills, discipline them when necessary, help them build their self-confidence so that they can go on and achieve something more than you could have ever imagined achieving for yourself. That's leadership, an absolute love and devotion for the people who've committed their lives to this enterprise. it's a human thing. So just as you know how your body feels after a good workout, you know how your body feels after a big greasy meal, you know that one is good for you and one is not, despite what it may taste like. And that's the problem.
Oh wow, that was deep. He said, knowing what's good for you, despite whether you like it or not, but you know how it makes you feel. How does our relationships make us feel? The relationships that we are in, we may like them or we may not like them. But how does the relationship make you feel at the end of the day? Is it adding value to you? You may like being with this person because they have clout, they have prestige, they have power, they have access to certain things. They may have money. There is an access to culture. They may allow you to benefit in multiple ways. But at the end of the day, how does that relationship make you feel? Do you feel like crap at the end of the day when you're surrounded by all of this wonderful stuff? Are you being poured into? Are you being uplifted? Or are you just trying to uplift yourself in the midst of the benefits of the relationship? Now, we're talking friendship and we're talking romantic. So that's a good question that we have to ask ourselves. How am I growing in this relationship, or am I just in it because I like the benefits of it? Versus how does this relationship actually make me feel? Am I growing? Am I losing myself? Am I compromising my values too much? Am I compromising my morals? He used the example of going to the, working out or eating healthy. I like eating junk food, but after I eat that junk food, how does it make me feel? I know it's not good for me, but I still like it anyway.
Problem with short-term gains, right? They feel really good in the short term. So we're highly trained social animals. We're highly adapted social animals. We can feel social awkwardness, and we can feel when things are going well. You can sense it. You say you have this sense of laughter, around the office. Like we don't work on with blinders. We're like I said, we're made to do this. That's why we can assess if somebody's trustworthy or not. That's why we keep our walls and we're like, yeah, his results are great, but I wouldn't trust him, right? As opposed to letting down your like, I trust her for anything. I trust her with my kids, my money, anything, So we're highly attuned animals, and so we're good at sensing it. But I will say there is a caveat to your metric of laughter, which is a decent one, is that scale breaks things. Right? In human beings. As I said before, we're not made for populations bigger than about 150-ish. It's called Dunbar's number. Robin Dunbar, a professor from Cambridge University, theorized that we cannot maintain more than about 150 close relationships. And the way he defined a close relationship is, if you're at a bar with a bunch of friends and somebody comes in, would you ask that person to join you or not? And it's about 150 that we would ask them to come join us. And if you think about the reason, that actually makes perfect sense, which is there's two limiting factors. One is time. If you only gave 2 minutes to every person you know, you'd make no close friends. And the other one is memory. You just can't remember everybody. Mm-hmm. And so this is where leadership becomes very, very interesting. Because if you have a company that has a lot of people, 5, 6, 7, 800 people, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000 people, clearly you can't know everyone. And clearly as a CEO, like, I care about every single one of my people. You don't even know. Some of the people you work for who work for you are bastards, right? But what you can say is, I desperately care about the people whose names I know and whose faces I recognize. And I care desperately about my leadership, and I instill in them every day that I will give them the tools and I will take care of them with one purpose and one purpose only, that they will take care of the people in their charge.
And I'm going to stop the clip there, fam. He's making wonderful points here. when he was talking about knowing someone's name. We can't overextend ourselves to people. Um, there is a um, there's huge truth to what he's talking about when he says that the time that we're able to devote to people speaks volumes. Now, for the sake of relationship, from a personal perspective or romantic relationships, a spouse or someone you're in relationship with, we need to be able to see that person. Are we giving them time? The most valuable thing we have here on earth is not money. It's not status. It's not things. It's time. Where are we placing our time? Are we taking time to do the work on ourselves so that we can be better for other people? Are we trying to elevate ourselves and show up better so that we can bless other people, so that we can actually love people better, so that we can esteem them over ourselves sometimes, that we are focused and in tune with their well-being? Are we coaching, training, mentoring, developing, helping other people? That's how we show love to one another. Do we care about their well-being, or do I don't care about what it is that you do? But it all starts with doing the self-work, doing the self-reflection, and trying to figure out where my flaws are. Not worrying about the other person, but where are my flaws? What do I need to work on? How do I show up in the relationships? Thus, when I figure out all of that stuff, when I figure out my baggage and understand why I got to the point to where I am and how I move and operate, how I juke and jive, then I fully understand how I show up in relationships and how I engage. Thus, understanding how to love people, because I am more focused on your well-being, your betterment. How do I make you better? How is the fact that me being in your life add value in our relationship and make the whole situation better? How do we help each other grow? So let's just think about that, fam, as we continue in February. The month almost gone now, but we've surrounded this month on the subject of love. What is the crux of it? What is the definition? What's the terminology? And again, how it is expressed and applied in many different ways. But the root factor is understanding the power of love and how we can affect and change people's lives when we get out of our own way, when we do the work on ourselves, and we do things that are for the betterment and well-being of someone else. So family, until next time, continue to think differently about relationships.